You are live. Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Long time no see, Haley.
It's been forever.
Okay, so let me just explain. Earlier today, we started a broadcast, and it was just kind of feeling out using this particular forum. I'm not used to using this. I podcasted forever before, but you can't use Google Hangout anymore. So just kind of getting the feel, but we got caught up in talking about what's going on. So I'm Salty Seeds. This is my daughter, God's plan. So I've been on YouTube. I know everybody that's here is really new to probably knowing me, but I've been on YouTube for 10 years, at least 10 years. Um, and I've struggled with YouTube with my channels. I take them down all the time, and I say what I want to say, and I say it because I have a right to say it. And I don't like being told no, not when it's my right. And it's a God given right before everything else. I'm a Christian. My daughter's a Christian. I'm going to let her tell you about herself. Um, I know that most of the subscribers that are on this channel right now came from Casey Enter the Stars. Bless him, bless his heart, soul. It's an amazing, amazing Christian. He has an amazing channel. He has such a godly gift. And I see other channels have hundreds of thousands of viewers and are not putting anything out like Casey is. I found Casey, I think it was I was some years ago, maybe, I don't know if it was 2012 or 14. It was somewhere in there, but I found him through KJ Osborne, which most people know, but the scariest movie ever. And when I saw the work that Casey was doing, it was beyond anything anybody else was doing. He doesn't get stuck in the paradigm of what's going on. He goes on to the next step, which I love because that's how I see things. I see things in patterns and what's coming next. So, anybody that's watching, bless you. We want to talk about what's going on right now. We're going to talk in code because of YouTube's rules. So, as far as the situation right now, if you hear us say Operation 19, we're referring to that. Oh, Haley, you got Operation 19? Just kidding. But, and if you hear us spell FIVE, giraffes, we're talking about, hopefully, the new kind of internet, if you will. I just want to be extremely careful about saying certain things. I really don't feel like making a new channel again. I've made many of them throughout 10 years and I'm just over it. Um, so that's that. Now I'm going to hand you over to my daughter, my amazing, beautiful daughter, and I'll let her talk about herself for a moment.
All right. So, um, yeah, I'm just here to learn as we go, kind of thing. My name's Haley. Um, I just kind of hit like a whole new, I don't know, a whole new way of thinking about the world, about life, about God, about how I see things that are put in front of me. So, this live stream is a way for me to um, take you guys on my journey while I learn also. So that's just kind of what I'm doing here, and just letting the truth be put before me, and just make better choices on what I allow to believe. And I hope you guys can do the same, and we can help you do that. You're on mute, Mama.
I know I muted myself because my glasses are causing a reflection and it's bothering my eyes. So
Oh, I can see it.
I was saying that so that it wasn't said throughout the while you were talking. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me
So
tell your testimony and
yeah, yeah,
through what's happening right now,
yeah.
how
So
you came to where you're at.
I grew up in a Christian household, and I also grew up in a household where we didn't, you know, I don't want to say, we just didn't bring God, Jesus, any of that into anything that we did. So I grew up both ways, you know, going to church, going to private school, and then going to my dad's house was a different like atmosphere. And I've been to public school, private school, and been homeschooled. For everybody that's uh, dealing with having to try and school their children at home, my dog is trying to eat my headphones while I'm sitting here. Um, this is a great opportunity to really like teach your kids what you want them to learn, and just like um, you know, really filter what they're learning rather than putting them in a school and just expecting people you don't know to teach them what they should be learning, type of thing. So that's what I have to say about that. Mom, thank you for homeschooling me. I appreciate it. I learned so much hands-on rather than sitting in a desk and using books. And um,
Well,
because
we
of you,
used books,
I
but we
was
used books that were real and told the truth.
right,
And that's
right,
one
right.
thing. And but you're very welcome. Go ahead.
And because it's because of you that I was able to, you know, wake up and see what's really going on. And so, you know, my testimony is kind of just the fact that like my faith was shaken a little bit. And for a while, you know, things happen to us in life that really make us like question God, and if he's, you know, actually has his arms around us this whole throughout this whole journey of life. And I was starting to question it and really just like beat up on myself and beat up on my faith, and it was a struggle. But yeah, I just looked around and I was like, what is going on? And I started coming to you, Mom, and being like, what is this? I don't understand this. And you were like, finally, like you're asking questions and you're asking the right ones. And you know, if anybody else is feeling like that, like they're struggling with their faith and they're struggling you know, emotionally through this time, there's a reason for it. You know, there's a reason why you're questioning things and why you're struggling. You
Amen.
know, and I think that's God calling to you and really trying to wake you up and open your eyes to the things that are going on around you.
You couldn't have said that better, Healy. And I think there are people struggling. And there's people that have been brought up in religion. And religion has nothing to do with God whatsoever. Um, Unfortunately, that's why people divert from God because they don't want to be religious. That's the last thing God wants you to be is religious. He wants a relationship with you. So I think you realize that just by watching me, I'm a real person, and
Mm-hmm.
I screw up all the time. I'm not perfect. Listen, there was only one that walked on water, and none of us people are him. So we mess up and we do things, and how do I want to put this? He doesn't care as long as you ask for forgiveness. He doesn't care. When back in the Bible, where the Pharisees, the holy people, right, the holy men, the Pharisees, the priests, he chastised them. He actually said that they were from their father, the devil. Why? Because it was religious, and that's what we see all around us, and it turns people off because they think they can't be an individual. They have to look, and then the people that call themselves Christians too, they look Christian, they dress a certain way, they speak a certain way. You know what I mean? So I call them Sunday Christians. They're all wonderful on Sunday and act like hell all week long and keep going, oh Lord, I'm just forgiven because like this never ending blood of Christ, right? No. God would rather you to be real with him. And I love the Apostle Paul because he lost his temper all the time. He would get frustrated. And God loved him regardless, and he knew it. But he always put himself like, I, I failed. Do you know what I mean? And he would try to make himself better at every corner. He wasn't just like, well, I can do this. I mean, here's a man that lived with Christ, but he was like, I'm not. I am nowhere near where I need to be. He always tried, but he would fall down all the time. That's why one of my children is named after him. He's one of my favorite apostles because we're human. And then again, let me reiterate, the people that were supposed to be holy, Jesus called them, they were of their father, the devil. So religion is not, it means nothing. You can get in the Word of God every day. If you can find one scripture that says something to you, that means something to your heart, that's what's important. You need a relationship with Christ. Or you'll fail every time if you don't have one. You will absolutely fall on your face.
I like that. I think that's like a big thing too. How you said people, walk into church on Sunday and act like hell the rest of the week. Like it being, from growing up in churches and stuff, and same with me, like we know that type of person where
Mhm.
they'll persecute you for every little thing you do, but they are doing the same thing, and it's not about that. And it's also not about doing whatever you want and thinking God doesn't know your heart and know what you mean to do, and then thinking you can, oh Father, I'm so sorry. It's not about that either. You know what I mean? Like try to be a decent person, and it's just crazy. Like the same people that are in church every Sunday are the same ones, bashing on their neighbors when they should be helping them out and
Mhm.
being a good person. So that's what this is about, just trying to help people and guide them to where they need to be.
The greatest commandment God gave, Jesus Christ gave. So we have the Ten Commandments, but he says like the greatest commandment is to love those as I have loved you, or love your neighbor. And if you love the way Jesus loves, there's nobody to hate. He was being crucified. He had been tortured.
Mm-hmm.
He was sitting on a cross dying, and he said, "Forgive them, Father. They know not what they do."
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say this to all Christians in this time. It's very frustrating to watch people not see the truth, but you need to forgive them. They have scales over their eyes. They don't know what they're doing. Think of it in that way. And I mean, Jesus took it. He was an innocent, completely 100% innocent, and he took on what we deserve. We deserved what he went through. We all did. I mean, I can go through my life and go, wow. A lot of people could look at my life and say, "You've done so good for people, though." But it's filthy rags. It means nothing. It means nothing. Jesus never did one single thing wrong, and he took on some abuse that's absolutely beyond comprehension. And he still sat up there and said, as he was incurring more abuse, he said, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." So
That's like the ultimate love right there.
that's
Like
right.
every time I hear that, I just feel that. That's like the ultimate love. Somebody literally says, I will, like, take me, you know what I mean? And forgive them
Mhm.
for all of that. That's like amazing.
It is amazing, and people forget that, and you got to be real with God because He already knows it all. So I mean, why lie? You know, why lie and say you're something? Because He sees it all. I mean, you can lie to people around you, and maybe they don't notice, but He notices, and that's the most important point. Is when He notices, He sees all. Which is going to get into what's going on right now about Satan and what he's trying to do. He's trying to see all like God, but that's what's going on right now. We're about to see something that's so insane. It should blow everybody's mind, and everybody should be in a state of like, I need to wake up. Because what's about to happen during this Passover is going to be, it's going to blow your mind. And that's why I wanted to do this now too, so people, if they see it later, they can go, "Oh my gosh, God is real. God is real. It's been said, and then here it is. It happened. God is real, and this is what's really happening." And they won't. It's not going to be a coincidence. I'm so sick of people who that's just a coincidence. Really, you know.
That's like what I was saying earlier. Like people are so quick to believe in horoscopes, like, oh my gosh, it's real. Like, you know what I mean? But they won't believe in, like, they won't see what's right in front of them in real life, real time, not some zodiac.com that somebody made up and said you were going to have coffee this morning and you did. Like, I don't know.
What's so amazing about that to me is you have a book that was written over 2,000 years ago, and people don't want to believe that, but they'll believe something that some stranger wrote down the night before, some prediction, some prophecy. They'll believe
And
that
it's
book.
totally vague, by the way.
And
Totally vague.
none of the stuff ever happens. And if it does, that is coincidence. I'm like, that's incredible. But again, there's skills on the rise. And some people just, here's the fact. Here's the fact is that some people just don't want to believe. They don't want to. And there's nothing we're going to be, sadly, there's nothing we're going to be able to do about that. We're not going to be able to help them. No, not all the prayers, not all the, if you look at Satan himself, he was Lucifer. He had it all. And he rebelled. I'm like crazy. And talk about a lunatic, a psychopath. There you go. That's psychopathic behavior. That's everything you could ever want, and it wasn't good enough. And not only wasn't good enough, I'm going to exalt myself above the God that created me. You know, that's why you see psychopathic behavior. It comes from, like I said, when Jesus said to the Pharisees, because they were narcissists too, and it's another characteristic of Satan is narcissism. That's why he said to them, "You you are of your father the devil." And it's it's what you see around you so much. It's this disproportionate of Christians to people who are narcissistic, selfish. Well, that's what narcissism is. It's very selfish, psychopathic, like the people that run the countries in the world. Psychopathic. Just it's insanity.
Yeah.
Oh, you went away. You still there, Haley? Did you? Are you doing that to your screen, like blackening it? Are you,
Sorry, Mom.
are you there?
Oh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
I think you're on mute. Or am I on mute?
No, now you're on mute. I see you and I hear you. Try doing what we had to do before. This is happening again. We're gonna get Google screwed, but there you go. I'm gonna pause out for a second too. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, you're working again. Didn't this happen right around the same time last time?
Yep.
Oh, it's creepy. Chris said the FIV giraffe was being uploaded or something. Oh, gee.
I don't have any signal right now, by the way. Like, I have one bar.
Really?
And
And you're in the
it,
city.
Kevin and I, but this is what I'm saying. Kevin and I, for the past month and a half, 2 months now, actually, because yeah, have been saying how our what we changed our what do you call it, our cable service over from Cox to Verizon because we were like, it's too slow. I don't know what happened. It was so fast, and all of a sudden it's too slow. So we switched to Verizon, and now it's slow. I'm like, what?
Well, they're doing that on purpose too, Haley, slowing down the internet and then saying that, oh, because everybody's at home, the internet is slow, so people will be more encouraged because so many people rely on the internet, rely on their businesses, whatever, how they work, to encourage them to get FIVE. Everything
Right.
will work fine if we can just upgrade to that system. You know what I'm saying? And it's my firm belief that that system has a whole lot to do with what's
Jesus.
going
Oh,
on.
he's so bad. Stop. Sorry,
It's
Davis.
okay.
My neighbor asked me to help them really quick. Come on, Davis. Grab your toy. Yeah, that's the thing you were saying is like they'll do anything to get us to where they want us, slow things
Exactly.
down.
And
Um,
it's what's happening right now. And people just aren't yet questioning. Seeing little bits filter in now, but nobody's really questioning what's really going on here. I mean, oh, fun. Um, my back is so nice and warm from the fireplace, but my front is freezing. So I wanted to, well, I'll let you pick what to start with, Haley. I mean, I know I did it earlier in the other video, but I mean, we're kind of just playing around what we were doing. But do you want to start with the purge?
yeah, maybe start talking about quarantine and work our way up to just how they're kind of controlling everything, and how they're getting us used to, you know, seeing things that we're not used to and getting us comfortable with it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're definitely doing that, and I mean, they are really pushing this narrative. But the narrative is not cohesive. What we see, you don't see it going on in your neighborhood. I don't. My my daughter lives in Rhode Island. I live in Massachusetts, and the narrative that they're putting on mainstream media is not. It's not cohesive with what's really going on in our neighborhood and what you're really seeing. It's just not. It's not happening.
Right.
Um, you
Yeah, they're
know,
saying they're saying not to worry and they have everything under control and they
but
like
then at the same time, they put fear porn into you that makes you incredible. Not me, but I'm saying the general population. It puts them into an incredible amount of fear. An incredible amount of fear. Oh my gosh, you can catch it. Don't sneeze. Don't breathe. Don't. In the beginning of this too, and this is something we didn't talk about. In the beginning of this, I think it was Donald Trump said, and I could find this. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll find it and I'll put it in the link below this when this is done. But he was like, they're all up there going, don't buy all the masks. They can't stop you from catching Operation 19. Don't do that. And if you are hoarding masks, then we will come to your house and take them. He literally said that.
they
And
said you need
yeah,
to give it up
right.
to the
But,
people who
but
really
he
need it,
makes
the
no sense.
frontline
You're talking
responders.
out of two sides of your mouth. They don't help anything. Give them all up to us, and now they're telling us here in Massachusetts to cover your face at least with a bandana or a scarf or some covering. Well, why? Why? If the mask if the masks don't work, why am I going to? I don't know. So I can look around like I'm gonna be like an old cartoon, like a robber, or I mean, I don't even understand.
I feel like it's for, like you said, the fear factor. The more people you see walking around with gloves and masks, the more. Because first they're saying you need the H1N1 masks because the regular ones don't do anything. Now they're saying, oh, make one out of a bandana or a sock. Who cares?
Right?
Put your underwear on your head, like. Um, so I'm like, okay, and then now they're telling us to do that, but it's like it doesn't make any sense. So I feel because it is pretty freaky. Like when I take my dogs for a walk and there's like people walking around with masks and gloves and they're not even you can't see their expressions if they're smiling at you. It's so
Kind
discomfort
of
like
like social media, right? So you can
Mhm.
take a text any way you feel like it because you can't hear the embodiment of emotion behind it, so you
Right.
can receive it in any way you want. Hence the reason why I haven't had a cell phone in years. But
What about the lady that was walking down the street and they were dropping it off? Was that yesterday?
yeah, that was yesterday morning. I was dropping stepdad off at work, and there's a lady walking down the street with a bandana over her face. Another gentleman was walking down the sidewalk. I mean, I kid you not. She got off the sidewalk because she was so afraid to pass him because he wasn't wearing a bandana, I guess. I don't know. She jumped out in the road and almost got killed by the car. I forgot to tell you about that. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
oh, I'd much rather take the chance of a 2,000 pound bullet coming at me than walking by a human being that I probably won't be harmed by at all.
And
I
the
mean,
thing
she
is
almost got killed, Haley.
that's ridiculous because all right, now they're all every time you go watch a briefing or something, they say something like um work bear with us, we're learning about this as we go and stuff, but then like it's like they're manipulating it into whatever works for them at the moment, and then they're also like telling us like, oh, it's in the air, you can get it through your navel cavity, you can get it through your ears, you can get it from the droplets in the air. Okay, if that's true, then and people are so afraid that they'll dodge in front of a car, why are you walking around to begin with a bandana on your face? It's not
Exactly.
going to do
Then
anything.
go stay in your house. Chris and I had this conversation when we went to the store earlier. And I said, okay, so all you people that are terrified of Operation 19, why don't you just stay in your house and leave the rest of us to ourselves, right? Why do I
Yeah.
have to be forced in my home? I don't understand. Do you understand that? I want to go outside. It's starting to get warm out now. I mean, I don't mind the cold either, but it's starting to get warm out. My animals want to be out of the house. Then you fine. Stay in your house and be a shut-in if that's your choice. But
That
instead,
should be our
I have
freedom.
to be a shut-in too.
That should be our freedom. You know what I mean? If I want to go out and catch the
Not
virus, let me
good.
catch it.
Where the Constitution obligates us to have that freedom.
Yeah,
And
that's exactly right. What you're saying is, if the people who are afraid and don't want to catch it stay inside, that's great. And the people who are just trying to live their life and let if it's God's will, it's God's will. You know what I mean? And it's like,
that's how you have to live on this earth. I mean, I'm ready for it. Let's get her done. But I'm ready. But I'm just, when people oppress, when a handful of people can impress, and it's not just this country, the entire world. And again, fine, you stay in your house and live in fear. I don't want to live my life in fear. I want to go outside. It's
all
always
right,
what I've done. I'm not an inside. I'm shut. Excuse me 1 second. Go downstairs with Daddy right now. She wants my attention because I'm talking, so she's smashing a bone all over the floor. Go downstairs right now. Take the bone. See ya. Love you. Bye. You see her just drop it again on purpose? Hmm.
meanwhile,
Who needs babies anymore when you can have doggies?
meanwhile in Rhode Island.
What the hell? Oh, is that Jen? Oh, Ellie's like, yeah. I ain't worried about no Operation One Nine. Well, and that'll bring that up since you showed Miss Jellybean. Um, by the way, y'all are watching. That is my I've always known I wasn't getting grandbabies from my daughter, and I've never even pushed her ever, my oldest child, ever to have children. I don't think it's a good idea in this um, in this world anymore. And I've never encouraged you to do that. I've never been like, I can't wait for my grandbabies. Nope. Nope. I've never encouraged it. And I come from the belief to be fruitful and multiply, but I think I always already had a knowledge that this wasn't going to last much longer. Um, and just why do that? You know?
I wouldn't want to bring. I can't. I wouldn't.
No, and you've said that. Like, why, you've never had a great desire for that. And I'm fine. Because I love my fur babies, too. I love them. And I love that little dog. But, so that brings me to the point of, I don't know, when I get up in the morning, because I get up early, I get up with Dad and have coffee and, before he goes to work. I always like to see him before he goes to work. And so like 6 a.m., I get up, I turn on the TV, and lately, and this is just because of what's going on, because, I'm not a news person because I know what the news is all about on a television. So I try to stay away from it, but lately you kind of have to watch what's going on. So you're not surprised by the next thing. You know what I mean? You're not taken aback by it. So when I seen this thing come across the television that a tiger, I can't even believe I'm saying this because it's so ridiculous that a tiger caught Operation 19 from a zookeeper. If that were the case, if you could transmit something like that from human to animal, human race would have been extinct a long time ago. We wouldn't be sitting here talking. I mean, it's absolutely, utterly impossible because God created everything a certain way. There have been animals that have existed that have gone extinct through disease. It's a fact. Or the culling, if you will, of certain species, like so they don't overpopulate. You know what I'm saying? Then we would catch that, and the population would be culled down. It makes no sense. And I was livid that nobody said anything about it. And then I called you, remember, and I was out of my mind. I called your grandmother out of my mind. And you also have the same thing. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I really just did see that. Is it
Yeah,
just
Kevin
on my
called me.
news? So we're in different states, and so what is the purpose of seeing that? What? So they're gonna tell you the next thing that your animals have this thing, and then you have to now put down the animals, and I don't know where they're going with that, but there's a reason why they put it up on basically national news, and that's nerve wracking to me. They tell you to put down your animals, and people do it. People love their animals. It will be no leap for them to start turning in family members. You know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the videos we're going to show are neighbors losing their absolute mind on people basically for being outside, yet the neighbor's outside and spitting and screaming in somebody's face. Oh, okay. And screaming all about this social distancing and shelter in place, but yet they're outside. Like, how ridiculous is it? You're yelling at this young man to shelter in place and social distancing. Meanwhile, you're spitting and screaming at it in his face, just hitting his car, acting like a lunatic. You're not social distancing. You're not sheltering in place either. And then she goes, just can't wait to call the police on you. She was like excited about it because these are demon filled people. And that's the bottom line. I'm going to call it the way I see it. That's demon possession. There's something wrong with you who behave like that. You should want a young man. She was a bit older, probably old enough to be his mother, or maybe his aunt. The young man is trying to get outside while she's outside, by the way. You should be like, go get some sunshine. Because it's exactly what I would say to you children, and my two stepchildren. Outside. You need to be outside. The last thing you want to do is sit inside of a house. I'm sorry, and if YouTube takes us down for that, but it's the truth. It's the last thing you want to do. We need the sun's nutrients. We need fresh air. We need to build up immunities to what's around us. We're just gonna bless you. Uh-oh,
Corona.
I'm turning you in, man. It's all over.
Don't turn me in, man.
I'm calling her. Here it is. Calling right now. That's the TV remote. Don't worry. Um, but that's how ridiculous it will get. Here's the thing. I've been walking around in the stores for months. Months. I haven't even seen anybody sniffle. And normally you see kids and they got literally, I'm going to be a little bit gross, but they'll have snot running down into their mouth. The mother's too busy doing what they're doing, and the snot in the mouth now and hanging down. And then it goes the 4 inches past their chin. They're the dirtiest little
That's what I
germ
was saying.
things ever. And I haven't even seen a sick child. If this is so real, why didn't it run through the schools rampant first? I remember being young, and if somebody had strep throat, notices went home. Strep
Mm-hmm.
throat. And the reason why is strep throat is actually bacteria. It's a living thing, and it is contagious.
Right.
So, like HIV, we talked about this earlier, but HIV is a virus, but you can only contract that, and then you can go through the hepatitises as well, but you can only contract that through blood transfer. Whether you're a drug user, sexual behaviors, you know, I could go, somebody with HIV could walk up to you and spit in your mouth. I know that's gross, but you would not contract HIV virus. You wouldn't. But yet we have a V word running rampant and you can't even catch it that way. You cannot catch it that way. It's ridiculous and people believe it. They watch way too much television and all these movies, Outbreak, I Am Legend, all of those, all the zombie ones, right? They call it the V word, right? All of it, and people hear that word and it terrifies them. That's the whole point of making all those movies. So when they hear certain words, it does something to your mind, it triggers it, and people are freaking out.
Yep.
It's nonsense.
It's,
And instead of anybody taking the time, they want to Google how to make a fluffy pancake, but they can't take the time to look up how you can contract a V word.
they're saying it can live on surfaces up to like
Absolutely untrue. It's not even a living
3 days.
thing. It's not even living. Now, if I had a sinus infection, wiped my nose, touched the counter, you came up behind me, touched the counter, then touched your eyes or your mouth, you can absolutely catch them because it's a living thing. If I had warts on my hands, and so some of those wart, I don't know what to call them, particles came, you could get a wart because a fungus is a living thing. That's ridiculous.
You're making me think of like if my computer had a virus and I put it next to yours, your computer
It
would
would
get that
not
virus. But if
exactly.
your computer was covered in mud and you put it next to mine, my computer would probably get mud on it. You know what I mean? Because it's you know what
If
I
we put both our computers side by side and you stomped in a mud puddle, yes.
mean?
It's exactly right, Haley, and maybe that's why they call a computer V word just that. Because it's particular to that one individual
Mm-hmm.
computer, right? So I never thought of it that way, and that's a good analogy. I mean, certainly, because you could come here right now, and I would. My computer's not going to get this. That's a great analogy, actually, because that's how ridiculous this is.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
so do we want to talk about do we want to talk about the sirens that they're using to scare people into their houses?
yeah, we're going to do that, but you know what? I just thought of too. We said we were going to do first is the letter that Christopher just got
Oh, yeah.
So I should probably give some background. Haley's stepfather, my husband, is he's a combat marine. He served in Desert Storm. He was actually the first one in. He was in the 112. He served in Kafji, that was considered the bloodiest battle of all of Desert Storm. But he was in Shield, Storm, and Saber. Um, anyway, he has issues from that, and I don't want to get too much. Well, we'll bring that up. I can bring it up now, I guess. But there's people that have Gulf War syndrome, and there's just tons of PTSD. But um, so my husband has severe PTSD. Um, like I said, he was the first one in. He works. He's kind of an elite group of guys in the Marines. There's very few of them. Um, so he has issues, but whatever. So I don't want to say too much about him live. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knows who will watch it and whatever. But he got this letter today, and then they emailed it to him too, which is pretty incredible. And it's a little bit nerve wracking considering we're going to watch a video with Trump talking about mental illness. It's deeply concerning, especially when they're allowing criminals to come out of prisons. So we will touch on all these things. And what? So you can go throw somebody who knows how to defend themselves and defend their family and train them. You want to take the criminal out of prison and throw my husband in prison? No, not like that hasn't been done before. But so yeah, let's take a quick look at that. Um, it wasn't in a threatening kind of way either, but it was just some of the things in it were kind of odd. But okay, all right. I have to find the right pictures. I think it's, I think, hopefully. Yeah, this is it. All right, ready? Yeah, so this is from the United States Department of Veteran Affairs, maintaining and enhancing your mental health and well-being. I love this new thing too. The novel. You know, novels are usually stories. I just read this novel, but whatever. Um, Operation 19 disease. You know the rest. I hope you all can read. Um,
Actually, not sure. It says
how
it
to
has
manage
spelling.
stress, anxiety during the Operation 19 outbreak. Taking care of your well-being, including your mental health, is essential during this time. Everyone reacts differently, to stressful situations. Many people may experience stress, fear, anxiety, and feelings of depression. This is normal. There are there are things that you can do to manage your stress and anxiety. Exercise regularly. Nowhere because they don't want you outside. But okay. Try to eat a well balanced meal. Don't really go in the grocery stores anymore. And get plenty of sleep. Limit alcohol. Practice breathing exercise and or meditation. VA has free mental health apps for veterans. I'm sure you do. Take breaks from the news. You know what? I would say this. Why don't everyone take breaks from the mainstream media and maybe we would all feel better? Really, take breaks from the mainstream news. See below for tips. But it probably says, but only watch these channels. I'm just kidding. I don't know if it says that. But stay connected with others while practicing. Look at these oxymorons. Stay connected with others while practicing social distancing. See below for tips. Haley, what is all that noise on your end?
I muted it to see if it was me, but
Did you hear it? Dun, 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 dun. Sounds like a horse walking down a.
yeah, I don't know what it is.
Oh, it's FIVE giraffe or something. I don't know. I'm kidding. But keep your current mental health appointment. And I want to just stress this to my uncle, which would be his great uncle. When he's a very sick man, he has a mass on his liver, and he went down to the VA. This was last week. I don't know what all that noise is. He went down to the VA, and hold on one second, y'all. I'm gonna check this out and see what this noise is about.
It's very weird.
It seems like every time I start talking,
It
wow,
does it.
yeah, that's weird.
Do you have it near any other like electronic devices?
No,
Like
no, I don't own any other.
like
Um,
your house phone, your Nook, chargers, nothing?
hold on one second. Let me go back to StreamYard. This is ridiculous. I can't even find StreamYard at the moment. Oh, here it is. Um, very strange. Let me see. Am I talking now?
Do you have
Let me.
something playing in the background?
Nothing.
It sounds like a washing machine. Is your dishwasher going?
Nope. You know, they're just gonna mess with this. That's what's gonna happen, and that's what I believe. Let's pause for 1 second. I'm gonna pause. So anybody listening, sorry, we just got to deal with it because that noise is really annoying. And I'm just gonna have my husband look at it quick and see if he can figure it out. I'm gonna have Chris just stay on so he can connect with you and try to figure out what's going on. Can you look at this and see every time I talk, you hear it? It sounds like a horse galloping down the street. Oh my gosh.
Tweedle,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me see.
I can hear that noise. It's like crackling on my end. It just sounds like those little pop rocks that you throw at the ground.
Oh, that's the fire. You hear the fire that loud?
Maybe. I don't know. It does sound like it's coming from the phone or something. I mean, from the. I'm not sure.
Wait, hold on. Can you still hear it?
Yep.
Right now?
Yep.
What's it sound like?
Can she hear the fire?
No, because I'm hearing that feedback.
It's only when you guys talk, but like, it fades off after. Because when you mute it, I don't hear it, so I know it's not over here. What are you using, Mom? Your laptop or Nook?
Laptop.
Might just need to